Well, here we have Hans Niemann with us, and the commentators want to know what inspired you to play A4, and what did you think about his reply A6?
Well, not a lot of tries against Berlin, so you have to. It's like the one thing he didn't have any games against, so had to surprise him.
Well, it seems like you got a very favorable position from the opening. When did you start feeling that you had a big pull?
No, I always. I don't think it. I never stopped until in time pressure. I was just the clear breakthrough was very difficult, but it was obvious. It was obvious that I had an advantage the entire game.
Right. Take us a little bit through what you consider were the problematic moments. You were trying to break through throughout most of the game. You got this really nice bind on.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, so here, okay. Of course, it gives +1, and okay, this is like low depth anyways. But you can just continue Rook E7, Bishop B2. Like
it's not the low depth. It's 40.
Yeah, but this leash engine is a bit weird sometimes.
Okay.
But Bishop B3, Queen F4, yeah.
Queen. Well, he played Rook F8.
Rook F8, yeah. C3. What did I Rook E2? Okay, I don't think I made any mistakes. You can continue here. I'll tell you when to stop.
Okay. Well, we can just go to directly where you want to go. Bishop C8 all the way here.
Yeah. Take. Yeah. King F2. Queen D. Yeah. G3. Yeah, I should just play. And then he plays King G8. I need to play H4. Yeah.
Well, H4 the engines weren't so happy about. There was this
Queen
Queen
D7
D7 or Queen E6 coming to H3 with some counterplay.
So I need to go Knight B6 first, and then H4.
It wasn't so clear, but yes, he wanted to play Knight B6, Bishop E6, and only now that the bishop is down
Yeah, that
here.
makes a lot of sense, yeah. But and then here it should be technically lost.
Wow.
You would consider it to be that high of an advantage?
Well, 1.3 is usually should be okay. It's obviously very difficult because the engine always gives a huge advantage here in these types of like the pawn structure.
Yes.
It's obvious what is going on, but to find it over the board is always it's very difficult.
Absolutely. Where did you feel like things went wrong?
Okay, he's like playing so quickly. I have no time, and I was just trying to make it to the time control without like giving away my advantage. But at some point, once I just was making. I was playing without a plan, and lost a bit of control, and then I didn't really have the time to put significant pressure because I don't really think it's. I think this is H4 or Knight B6 H4 is the main try.
Yes.
But after this, there's just nothing.
Yeah, especially after Queen H4 G5. Yeah, just did say that at the end they liked your position a little bit better.
How am I supposed to play after Knight D6? Okay, but Knight D6, King E3.
We thought it was very difficult to find.
No, of course I saw it. Like there's not a question of like okay, Knight D6, King E3, Knight F5, King D3. No, King. No, this is equal. King D3.
Okay.
Takes. Okay, I guess I miscalculated. Maybe at this point I was just, I'd given up, but no, here I would still be able to push.
A little bit. I mean, the king on F8, perhaps Bishop H5 type
No,
idea.
but again, this is like so difficult to play with black because there's always trades and you never know if an endgame is just going to be lost, yeah? So...
That's true. Well, Hans, it's a good way to start the tournament. You put pressure on Levon Aronia. Not an easy thing to do. He's such a well-versed Berlin player. How do you feel about your start? You seem a little disappointed.
Well, of course I'm... it's not terrible. The thing is that this G3 H4 idea was so natural to me. Like the entire game, I just felt like I was completely outplaying him, and there seemed to be a difference in evaluation of the position, and I felt like the time management, could be a bit better. H4 chance, but even after H4, it's unclear if I'd be able to win. But I think that perhaps with a bit better time management, then I would have. Like to play H4, even Knight B6 H4 is not like such a difficult thing, which is slightly frustrating, but in general I was never in any danger, so at least it's not that bad. Yeah.
This is your first real incursion into the elite of chess at the classical time control. How does it feel, the preparation on how to play differently than, for example, the tournament that you played in Miami or other tournaments in which you've played a rapid time control against this best of the best players?
Well, I enjoy this much more because I feel like I'm able to show my best chess here. It's a very serious preparation, and just the conditions and everything is just so much better. These rapid events can be quite dependent on your form, and things can go, there's more variance, I'd say, in rapid. But I'm very happy to be here, of course, and to play these players. I expected maybe to be a little bit more intimidated, but I feel right at home here. So I'm definitely looking forward to the rest of the tournament.
Sounds good. And tell us, the viewers, a little bit about your adventures, because you've been ping-ponging around the world playing chess. What happened in the last few weeks?
Well, I was in Belgrade and beginning to August, let's say 13th. Then I was supposed to go play Turkish League, and then Champions Chess Tour says, oh, we got an invitation to Miami, and I'm like, oh, great. So then I fly from Belgrade to Miami, and then I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to go to Turkish League, play 5 games. So I fly across the world, of course. And then once I arrive, someone calls me, he's like, oh, maybe you're going to get invited. And then I get invited to the Sinkfield Cup. First, it's the Rapid Blitz. And then I tried to tell my Turkish League team, maybe I can go, and let's say that didn't go too well, and go over too well with them. And Turkey is probably not my where I'm safest. So then I was like, I can't come. So then thankfully they gave me the Sinkfield Cup invite. And then I'm like, okay, well, I've just played 5 games in Turkey. Time to do my 3rd cross-Atlantic trip, all the way back, which obviously was miserable. But the bright side now is I should be staying in America for quite a bit, and obviously St. Louis is much better than Ankara, Turkey. No offense, but that place is absolutely miserable.
No offense, I'm sure. Well, thank you, Hans, for joining us here and the commentary, and good luck in the rest of your games.
Thank you.
Indeed, Hans. Good luck the rest of your game. No offense,
Our
Peter,
viewers,
but I
our
really...
viewers are getting the first taste of what I referred to earlier.
Nice.
You ask a question, you get a reply there.
Very honest answer. There you go.
And this is good.
Hans, what a game today. Take us through some of the key moments. You chose this very wild, extremely modern type of chess opening. Tell us what your thought process was choosing it.
Well, it's not really my choice, yeah? It's his choice to play bishop c5 instead of bishop b4.
Bishop c5 and bishop b4.
Yeah, okay, of course.
For the audience.
Yeah, here, bishop b4 is the...
You can show the
It's
board.
more his tendency. So the things he had no games here, so I wasn't sure which one he would go for.
Right.
And I spent a little bit more time on bishop b4 than bishop c5. But I did remember, obviously I should have known much more about the position than I did. But he also seemed, our knowledge seemed to stop at after queen e3, which...
So queen e3 was the end of your preparation, let's put it that way.
Yeah, because it's just the main line. It goes to b5, c5, or maybe I could
No,
become...
b5 is absolutely the main line.
No, of course, yeah. So b6, it's just a very bad move, yeah. I assumed, so here I was like thinking, and it was of course I knew it was a mistake, but to punish it in these positions is so difficult. So
how did you try? What was your thought process here?
of course I thought of h4, but I thought that what I played was simply the most direct. So, okay, my thought process is, okay, usually, let's say h4, it's saying, it's saying now bishop h3, rook h3.
Yeah.
So to understand this, you have to understand that this is, let's say, the best plan, because what I played
With bishop d3, you mean?
and yes, and now again queen g3 it's a mistake, but it's like there's so many and here I was forced after rook a to play this
Rook he1. You actually spent a lot of time in this decision.
yeah. It's not really the move, it's what I was going to play. It's whether I was going to play c5 or cb5. So perhaps I should have played rook h1. So he played bishop h3. No, he played b5.
Yeah, b5, and then we went through this c5. Yasser described it as a bowling ball going down.
Yeah. So, but yeah, of course I should have. This h4 rook h3 idea I should have seen. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you real quick. There we have another result. Fabiano Caruana has drawn his game against Lenier Dominguez. And it's certainly going to be a disappointment for Fabiano. But let's continue with this analysis. You were telling us about this position.
Yeah, so I knew I had a big advantage after b6, but to capitalize was difficult. But okay, obviously, let's say I play cb5.
Instead of...
so c takes b5, bishop a6, a4, c6, at queen h3, yeah. Take e6, yeah, I saw all this.
Take an e6?
E6, yeah. So now d e6, bishop b8, takes, yes, king Okay, there are a few options. There's even there's king a2, there's king c2, there's okay, let's say king a2 for example.
How do you evaluate this endgame?
Perhaps, but the problem is that a lot of these endgames with the bishops, these double pawns are going. There's going to be so many fortresses, right? Because I don't really have a breakthrough. So no, I evaluated this as just going to be a draw. So I thought, you know, why not this position? Okay, the fact that d5 is the best move and d6, it's very counterintuitive, yeah, because your eyes are just looking at this this king.
Right.
He played a5, which is a mistake. Yeah. Oh, and now I'm better. Yeah. Okay, so I should have played queen h4 first. Okay, fine. But bishop g2, and now I was just in control. Yeah. Queen h4.
Yes.
And I played queen d4 is also very precise. Okay, very nice. Rook b7. Taking a5. Oh wow, I played so well.
You seem so surprised with yourself.
Well, when you're going down on time, it's like the thing is that in these first two games, I know my opponents are playing terribly. You know, I'm like, what are these guys doing? I thought they're supposed to be top players, so I'm trying to punish. And no, of course, yeah, this is all correct. Yeah, Rook eb8, but he was just way too optimistic.
When were you sure you were going to clinch this point?
Okay, the queen endgame, I was completely sure.
Now already, when we got
very
to
far, yeah.
this position.
Yeah, this position I was quite confident because I had foreseen this position and foreseen that to have the pawn on g6 is very nice in these endgames because you always have some triangulation checks, you know.
Right.
So, and I thought like in any case I should be faster with these two double pawns, and it's really nice to have these two pawns because it's just you cover this queen b5, king b7. And I found the right construction. So he plays queen a1, and maybe here, what was I supposed to play? King b4 is correct, yeah?
Yeah.
But you should note, like, I have like 30 seconds here, so perhaps I wasn't that precise.
No, you were fine.
Oh, I was, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't see the valuation changing. That's a good thing, yeah?
Yes.
So I played well, yeah?
Yes.
Not bad, not bad.
Not bad.
No, it's... yeah, I definitely should have found this h4 because h4 is my first instinct, right? But I think after that, considering the time situation, I kept my nerves well and I didn't let him intimidate me.
Another victory there for the white pieces as Jan Nepomniachtchi does put the finishing touches on Alireza Firouzja and comes back to the tournament. Hans, this is your first win against the 2750 plus. What does that do for your mood?
It's okay. But it's not a surprise to me that I'm beating these players. So perhaps, you know, when I've improved quite a lot lately, so I've sort of become numb to these rapid changes. For me, in my mind, I'm already, you know, a top player. So winning a game confirms that. But my confidence, of course, can be strengthened by such a win. But confidence comes from commitment and hard work. So. Not just winning.
Well, there you go. Hans Niemann with an important victory against Shakir Mamedyarov. Good luck in the rest of the tournament. We certainly hope to see many more victories from you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hans. Our congratulations. Very entertaining game.
Certainly the man of the hour, 2.5 out of 3. A dream start for you, Hans. Give us your opinion.
It's not bad, yeah. He played quite poorly, so I didn't do anything special. He just went to well, okay, I think I played quite well. But I was actually very fortunate that this opening came on the board, and I looked at this today.
You guessed this opening today?
I don't guess it, but for some miracle, I had checked this today. And it's like, it's such a ridiculous miracle that I don't even remember why I checked it. I just, when I saw, I just remembered h6 and everything after this, and I have no idea why I would check such a ridiculous thing. But I checked it, and I even knew that the bishop e6 is just very good. Like, it's so ridiculous that I checked it, but...
So you actually, this morning, had this position?
Yeah, even farther.
Where did it stop?
Well, okay, you should play bishop f6.
Here in this position?
Yeah, well, on a different sub-variation, it goes farther. So, no, let's see, not rook d1, this is a mistake. So I knew this is a mistake. So he could play, so bishop f6,
yeah.
Queen f6, knight d2, queen e7, queen b5, a6, queen b6, bishop g4. Goes like rook e1, I guess. And here there's a few moves. but I checked this today by miracle. Yeah.
You had this exact position.
Yeah,
What?
even farther, but
I have to ask you, come on, what prompted you out of all the variations to choose this one? I don't think that Magnus has ever played this before.
no, he has. He played against Wesley So in the London Chess Classic 2018,
All right.
but it wasn't the specific variation. He played. It was with. He did not play with A3, and okay, there were so here. Okay, let's say he can play knight f3,
Right. That's main line.
DC4,
Yeah.
castles, knight c6, queen a4, knight d5.
Well, yeah.
Queen c2, and then bishop e7 is critical to play e4, knight cb4, knight cb4, queen e2, knight c3, cd3, and knight e3. Black's slightly better. But anyways, he played the no. He has I was expecting he has a tendency for these types of weird things, and considering how my repertoire in the clash, I expected something weird. And also, this is a3. There was a game. Chigaev, Serrana at Sharjah. It was not with a3. Let's say it goes like, basically, they reached. He played this a3 idea, sacrificed the pawn, and it was extremely dangerous. So I remember this game because I was there and I was watching it. I never even checked it. So I was like, I was familiar with the idea, and even I played this G3 Nimzo myself, like even 5 years ago. So. It's not like, maybe he should have checked my white database to see how familiar I would be. But yeah, a3 is just, with takes and c5, it's very concrete. And then I think, I vaguely remember, after h6, I think even a queen h4 might be a move here.
Queen h4 right now.
Yeah, what does it say? What does the engine say? Okay, it's not here. Okay, maybe, I remember some queen h4, but yeah, okay, after bishop e6, it's just quite difficult.
Yeah.
But still, I think I played really well. I was very happy. You know, I had some great. Let's go. I want to enjoy it.
It's your show, man.
It's really nuanced. You know, like let's.
Where do we go?
Just from bishop e6.
That's it.
Okay,
Bishop
so
E6.
rook d8. Okay, already here. You can. I'll tell you what to say. So take this endgame take. Yes. Okay, rook d8. Of course. Knight d8. Knight a5. And I was very happy because rook d1 now rook c8. So it's very counterintuitive.
Right.
And there's a critical line. You know, he was thinking he's going to trick me, but let's say rook d1, king d1. This is very critical. Okay, bishop d5, right?
Yep.
Now, okay, let's say knight e1, take, knight c4, a4, knight b2, right? But okay, so instead of this, he can. Okay, I win the pawn. So he has a trick. Let's go beginning of variation.
Okay.
Where after bishop d5, he can play king c2. And the point is, after king c2 is, let's say knight c4. He wants to play knight d2, but there's knight a3. So first he plays a4.
Let's go a little bit.
a4, then knight b6, then a5, then knight c4, then knight d2. So this is the little trick. So this wasn't going to work, but
Interesting.
yeah. So
We analyzed a different one.
Okay.
I'll show you that one because this one, instead of a4, he has knight e3 in this position.
yeah, but I think for him to play this, it takes in c4. Yeah, that's too much. That's way too much.
All right, so you won rook c8, which is definitely the best move in the position.
Yes, and then knight d2, bishop b6. I just kept pressure, and then he went c4.
Yeah.
And then after this, I was bishop c4. Take. Yeah, okay. I'll tell you when to stop. Yeah, there was some critical moment. Yeah, I was very happy with this f5 move on move 26. I was very happy with this. I thought this was very critical. And then rook e8, e4. Yeah. So I could tell that. Maybe, okay, it says 0.6, but practically it felt so difficult, and I had a slight time edge. Yeah, g4, this is the big mistake.
That is a big mistake.
And then I capitalized, yeah, perfectly.
I wouldn't go that far.
Perfectly, really. There was a, can I?
Yeah, of course. We'll go g4.
G4?
I'll tell you that Sassy did evaluate this at 0-0, so...
Really?
Yes,
Ah,
but
no
g4 was a
chance,
mistake. So, rook c5, bishop a2. It didn't like your knight c4
What should I
that
play
much.
instead?
I think it wanted to take on g4 because it thinks that the endgame after bishop takes c4 is a draw. Actually, it doesn't think, it knows. But it's difficult, of course.
To say that bishop c4 is a draw is like the most computer thing ever. Like, I guarantee you, turn the engine off, you ask 100 grandmasters, bishop c4, rook a4, e5, rook a4, what is the evaluation? Like maybe 99 will say it's lost. Like, I don't even want you to explain it to me, because then it will just, I will lose my humanity.
Okay, well, let's keep your humanity, so let's keep going.
Like,
a4 was
like if you want to explain to me that bishop c4 is a draw, like, you know, then you should just, I'm not a chess player anymore, right? Because, like, come on, like Bishop C. Okay, let's just show it for a second, yeah? Like,
I thought you wanted to give your
Bishop C4, Rook C4, E5, Rook A4.
Yes.
Okay, like this is the classic thing. You get B5, you hold it, then you go King F6. Like, this is not a draw. I don't care what the computer says. It's not a draw.
All right,
You
I
know,
understand.
Okay, we can continue. And then after this, so if you're saying that, so basically the basis of everything is some, you know, of knight c4 being a mistake then it's the best move in my opinion.
All right, fair enough. Better than the engine. Rook e7 in this position. F takes g4.
Yes.
And you had this nice trick of rook d7 and e3.
Yes. He could go rook d8, and then I play e3 as well.
Yes, instead in this position, rook d8, e3.
That was the killer.
Yeah. You still, the game went on.
No, but it's very difficult. Like it's not like you can just rook e2, but it was always very close. But yeah.
Yeah, it was very close.
Yeah, I just wanted to. Yeah, I felt like practically I was going to be winning here, so I just made the repetition because objectively, if I have more time, then I should be able to find it. If the win's there, then I should repeat to have more time, right? Because I had more time, I could arguably not repeat to press on the clock, but I thought there was no reason. So King F6, I was very happy with what I did here. Yeah? So Bishop D5.
Yeah. Would it surprise you to know that this position is actually holdable for white?
Okay, again, you know, we're speaking different languages here. Right?
Well, let's take a look. So Bishop D5 was his choice. What else were you expecting in this position?
Well, so there's rook takes B7, yeah. But
yes.
so here there are some nuances here. So
Yes.
first there's two moves, Knight G5 and Rook D2.
Correct.
So Rook D2 I thought was very nice, and at this moment, okay, let's first check Knight G5 because I want to show why I didn't like it.
Okay. Knight G5.
Yeah, Bishop D5, Knight H3.
Yeah, Bishop D5 actually does lose for white.
Well then, okay, then I played well. Yeah.
No, we're not saying you didn't play well. You beat Magnus Carlsen.
No. Okay. But yeah, so this Bishop D5, Knight H3, King F1, Rook F2, King. I evaluated this as very close, but I thought it should be winning.
This
yeah,
one.
Check, and then Rook H3, yes.
And then Rook H3, yes.
Yes. So I was like, okay, if this isn't winning, then, you know, what to do.
Correct, well said. All right. So, but after Bishop D5, you definitely played perfectly in this position.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, when did you know for sure that you had it in the bag? Actually, in this position after Rook D2, sorry, I actually made a mistake, King G6. Again, this Rook endgame was apparently, yeah, I know, 0-0.
But still, you know, we're not communicating here. It's like a failed relationship, you know. You're looking at one thing, and I'm thinking about the practical, and you're just like, you know, hard. This is you know.
That's why they put me in front of the board.
Exactly.
And that's why you're there playing.
You know, we're just not. You know, if you tell me that, okay, when I'm making decisions and I see, okay, he can go for this. No, but actually, I wasn't even going to go for the Rook endgame. Let me correct you. Rook F4. I have Knight G5.
Okay. And then you have Bishop G2.
And then King H5.
And then you were going for this. Okay, this was the idea, right?
Yeah, so this, I don't know how you're holding this, because I go King H4, I go H5, then I have threats, Knight H3, I have B5 pushing. Look, this should be lost, no?
Should be.
Should be. But
Should be.
again, sitting here with White, especially,
yeah,
it's just and already he's demoralized, right?
Exactly.
Because you know.
Tell us about the body language of the world champion at certain stages. Like for example, here after reaching move 40, he actually didn't get up from the board like he normally does. He kept himself on the board.
Well, you know, he has little tics, you know, and I've noticed that. Okay, that's maybe I should not use that word. He has mannerisms. Don't want to get canceled here. Mannerisms, please. Thank God I said that. I corrected myself. Mannerisms. So, you know, when I've played him, I noticed sometimes when he wants to assert dominance, he cracks a little smile. He wasn't cracking when he smiles, maybe one or two, and that made me feel very good. Because I just, again, of course, I grew up watching him. I've watched all of his interviews, and you know, and he said once in an interview that he spent more than 10 minutes on a move. That's a very bad sign, and he did that a lot this game. So that boosted my confidence. But I think, okay, even if there was a draw,
yes,
I think he's just so demoralized because he's losing to such an idiot like me. You know, it's just it must be embarrassing for the world champion to lose to me. I feel bad for him.
Hans, how do you see yourself? You're 2.5 out of 3 in the Sinkfield Cup. You consider yourself a top player. Are you saying that if you don't win this tournament, it's an issue?
Oh, but do I have a full point lead or a half point lead?
I believe that it depends on how Wesley does, right?
Oh, I win, yeah.
Well, we haven't checked in a while. I'll just update real quick. You know what? It's a mess. I'm not going to call it either way.
Oh, wow, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
King G6 win.
Yeah, but it's been like that for a while. Like
Yeah.
Fabi has been on the thread. For
Yeah.
some time. So let's say that they draw and you have a full point lead.
Yeah. But still, you know, of course, I believe that, especially these 3 games have encapsulated my strength and potential as a player. But you should know that I'm still improving. I'm still learning, and it's you don't become world champion in one day. It's a gradual process, and I'm aware of that. It's you know, this chess thing is a very long marathon. It's going to take a very long time. So if I don't win this tournament, who cares? The goal is not okay. Of course, winning tournaments. The eventual goal is to improve chess and become world champion. Because, in my opinion, I see it's sort of black and white for me, right? You know, I see a lot of players who have been top 10 for very long in their career, and you know, they're happy, you know, with cashing in. But for me, it's top 10 or all these things. It doesn't really mean much. I think in chess, the striving to be the greatest is for me the motivation. Of course, it's a long way to go, but to answer your question in a shorter way, of course, I would like to win the tournament. If I don't win the tournament, it happens, but again, the goal is to play good chess, and I'm doing that so far.
Ruslan Kasimdzhanov mentioned in another broadcast that some of these players' rating hasn't caught up to the juniors, and these players are not as strong as they used to be. In your opinion, do you think this top 10 is currently overrated compared to the juniors?
I wouldn't. Well, you know, overrated is you could also say they're underrated, right? So it goes both ways. So I would currently say that they're a group of, let's say, you know, you can even say 10 of the greatest, of very strong junior players, including myself. Maybe 10 is a bit much. But I will say that the structure of the tournament system is in a way that it is difficult for players to reach the elite of chess. Because you have a lot of these open tournaments. You know, for me, I took the path, right? I was, a year and a half ago, I was 2480. Then, life's great. You can just play any tournament, you know? I was playing like GM round robins, you know? And then, okay, I reached 2600. Then I won every single open there was. Then I reached 2650, and then it was already difficult, you know? I had to try and get the round robin invitation. I had to try and play the strong opens. And even then, it was difficult. Now, obviously, I'm very thankful to have the opportunity to play Sinkfield Cup, US Championship. This is great, right? So with these tournament opportunities that thankfully the St. Louis Chess Club provides, it's possible. But not all top junior players have these opportunities. So in my opinion, if things were restructured, then the gap would, but it is very clear that the top 10 players, in my opinion, are, first of all, the age is getting quite high, and I don't feel the same motivation in the fire that the younger players have. But it's not to say that they're better than them, but we should look for ways to balance opportunities. Like even for me to get this invite is perfect, right? Yes. If I didn't get this invite, I'd be playing some league for like, you know, some ridiculous amount of money and paying me on flight. It's like, in terms of chess, there's a gap. It's like, you know, not the rich get richer. It's like all the top players get their invites. It's not like they're bad or anything. It's just that there are some players who I believe have tremendous potential who just don't get the opportunities. And
is that what we saw at the Olympiad?
Yeah, the Olympiad certainly reflected that with like Ergaisi, Kusutarov, Kukoc, who had great results. And that's probably the one event where they get to actually play the top players, right? So I guess in this regard, this tournament is showing, you know, I've been winning every single tournament I've played in. Now I get the chance to play them, and it's showing, you know, I'm not bad at this game, you know. So these opportunities are important, but I think the Grand Chess Tour is great in general, right? St. Louis, without St. Louis, chess would be a complete joke, in my opinion. So.
Yeah. Well, gonna bring in Peter and Yasser. Do you guys have any questions here for Hans?
We're not worthy.
Well,
well done, Hans. Well done.
I was specifically described as being not worthy as well. So I.
What? No, Peter, you're great.
But yeah, I mean, it's we could listen to this for hours, but we do have a game going on. What you think Wesley wins this?
This is the current position.
Yeah, knight h6 should be played quickly. Not quickly, but he has like 10 minutes, no? Oh, 3. And it's the only move. Knight h6 is the only move. Well, he's sort of forced to find it, right?
Yes, he's already repeated twice, so he can't.
You sort of think like, how do I make a threat? And then the only move to make a threat is. So no, he'll find it. He'll find it.
And Not knight d6.
Yeah, the interesting point is knight h6.
But no, let me clarify. I don't want to be negatively towards these players. It's just sort of traditions, right? But eventually, I think the top players do break through. That's for sure. Like if you're a strong player, if you're really, really good, eventually you're going to be top 10 player, right? But chess is a difficult profession, and but I'm just thankful for the opportunity. So I can't really complain, right? Because I've gotten some very fortunate invitations. This one is like if I did not have this opportunity, then who knows how long it would take me to show that I can beat top players, right? Because US Championship, maybe I play top guys, but when can I ever play Magnus Carlsen, right?
Right.
So this is a gift, yeah. Not a gift, but it's true. I'm very, very thankful for this opportunity.
You've crossed 2700 for you. It was a given that it was going to happen very soon.
Oh, I did, yeah?
Yes.
Forgot about that.
I guess that answers my question.
That's okay, but it's only the beginning.
Only the beginning. Hans, thank you for joining us. Candid, as always, congratulations on your performance so far. Definitely a big day for you, beating the world champion with the black pieces. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And again, Hans, our congratulations and
Absolutely.
good luck for the rest of the tournament. Knight h6
On the board,
on the board, and Wesley So looks like he's in the driver's seat, Peter.
Yeah, as
Hans, a tough game here against Alireza Firouzja. You seem a bit concerned. Do you think you missed a chance?
Of course I missed a chance. Doesn't take a genius to figure that out.
Talk us a little bit through some of these variations. You played this great move, Queen G3. What were you expecting from here?
Okay, this entire game was just brilliant for me up until Bishop D3. Like Queen G3 and, okay, let's say King H8. Or did he played King H8, no.
What if he takes?
Bishop H6.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's say G6. Okay, I don't even need to show variations, you just look at the position. Yeah? Like, okay, let's say, okay, only reason Bishop G5 isn't working immediately because maybe F6 works.
Right, F6?
So, fine, not this here, but just F4. Like, I don't, like, simply F4. And then what is black going to play?
F4 where?
Instead of Bishop G5, just F4, like, what's happening? Okay, my pieces are literally perfect, his pieces are just terrible. I have Bishop G5 next. I simply go like H4, H5. Like, come on, it has to be lost. Like,
Okay.
I don't understand what universe this is not completely lost. For example, let's say King H7, Bishop G5, Queen E8, Rook D7, Queen D7, Queen H4,
Sorry,
Bishop,
King H7 you said?
Bishop G5, take on D7, Queen H4, Bishop C6, for example. So if King H7 doesn't move, then okay, what's the move? Queen E7 to go to C5, and then what are you going to do? There's absolutely zero way. Like, this side of the board's cut off. Like, okay, let's say Bishop G5. Okay, you don't definitely not. Let's say Queen C5, King H2.
F6, I guess you take on C4 eventually.
So let's say Queen C5,
Okay.
King H2, for example.
Uh-huh.
Okay, what do you play?
Bishop
Okay, I just did not believe in this position for black. Like, I just don't see any universe where this is holdable.
Really, after like Bishop D8 or something like this?
Bishop H6. Okay, so many moves. It's not like instinctively I'm like, okay, what is this? There's just no way. There's just zero chance.
Zero chance.
Zero. I just don't believe it. Yeah.
Okay. So he didn't go for that. He went for King H8. Did you expect King H8 instead?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
The move I expect most. And after knight d6, okay, knight c5, just, okay, obviously a bad move. Okay, I can show some variations. There's actually a really nice variation. Let's say instead of, what was it? Instead of, okay, there's g5, let's say, instead of knight c5.
G5 here.
Yeah, g5. So I thought that either he goes g5 and tries to do something concrete, or it's just very bad. So here, even rook, even h4 is a move here.
Okay.
And let's say take. You have to go king g7.
Yes.
And rook d3. And then rook h8 is the only move, I guess. And here I wasn't sure. Here I thought that it maybe wasn't enough. But
H4
there were
bishop
some
takes
other
d6
options
though.
as well, if we go back.
Peter's asking about H4 bishop takes D6 first.
Ah, yeah, this was the problem. Yeah, now yes.
Because you take and Queen
Yeah,
F6
exactly.
at
So
the end, right?
maybe I was trying to make something like this work, but again, there was just bishop e3 simply.
Ah, yes, of course, bishop
Just
E3
bishop
here,
e3,
right?
and here I was like, okay, this is obviously very bad.
Yeah, with 4 coming and you haven't sacrificed material.
Exactly, and
So he plays knight c5, which you did not think was a good move.
rook d4, yeah.
Yeah, rook d4.
Okay, now take, yeah, knight e4, of course, it's all correct, take. Okay, and here bishop d3. I missed, let's say bishop f5,
Yeah.
bishop e5, queen g5, rook g4,
Yeah.
and I thought I'm so smart because bishop g4, f4,
Right.
queen h5, hg, queen d8, queen g4, rook g8, queen f5. But then he has queen c1,
Yes.
and here I was still king h2, bishop g4, and then I thought maybe bishop takes g7, but he just goes back to g5. I thought I even considered f4 here. I considered queen g4, but it just wasn't working. So then this was just very. I should have been more disciplined there with my thought process. But okay, let's say just instead of bishop d3, let's say bishop e3.
Yeah, bishop e3 in this position we
It's
like.
just game over, yeah. Basically, right? Like it's just pure domination.
Yeah, it's a very strong position here for white. You have the pawn and the pair of bishops still strong. So it was based on a miscalculation that you played bishop d3. We had a feeling that you had missed queen c1.
Yeah, it's sort of queen c1 back to g5. It's a weird idea. Yeah, no, I missed it. I paid the price.
Well, you still managed to hold on to a draw. Did you ever feel that you were in danger?
Hold on, I wouldn't say hold on. Definitely, I wasn't the one holding on. Even after, let's say, what did I play? Rook e3, I still should have some advantage, right?
Well, without the bishops, we weren't as sure.
I definitely don't think I'm ever worse here, so I think holding on would be...
Not here for sure. Yeah, for sure.
No, I was never in any
danger.
danger. That's for sure. I don't think that... How could I ever be in danger when I have a d6 pawn? Like, perhaps I could have been more precise. Like, I don't know, this g4 moment, maybe it was a bit hasty. But here, okay, let's say I don't play g4. Let's say I play like... Okay, of course, I should have an advantage here because let's say I sit and let's say I go bishop f4. Okay, maybe it's not a huge advantage, but okay, let's say I play c4, for example.
c4 in this position, yeah?
I think I have a slight edge here because this is such a passive position. And then I thought b6, rook b3, rook b8.
Rook b3,
Yes.
Rook b8?
I wasn't sure how to proceed. I thought maybe bishop f4. But that was a bit, and you know, I always have bishop takes h6 ideas looming. So
Right.
maybe this was the way to proceed. But I definitely think I have an advantage. I just, I didn't use it the right way. I'm curious, what does the computer say?
In this position?
Yeah, what does it say? I'm just curious.
This position, it gives about
Just-
zeros.
Yeah,
It-
so pushing, can we go back? Just like, let's say, right after rook to e3.
Rook to e3, yeah.
I'm just curious. Okay, it's equal, wow. Interesting. And bishop e3, what is the evaluation?
It's like plus 1.5.
Oh,
You
wow.
let it think a little
So
bit.
higher depth, it's probably going to be like +2. Wow. Yeah, yeah, okay. Rook e8, then bishop d3 that's also the only move. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I shouldn't be that upset, but like I felt like I played the opening really well. And, I felt like the play was flowing quite well, but just it didn't. Yeah, it's similar with Aronian. Yeah, whole game I feel like I'm outplaying, and then the killer blow wasn't quite there.
Right. Hans, we gotta ask you, what are the players feeling seeing that Magnus Carlsen didn't show up for the game today?
Yeah, actually, it really, I was like struggling to even like, focus. I was thinking about it the entire game. I was like, I've never ever in my life heard of a top player forfeiting a game, even the world champion. Okay, I don't know if he said he wasn't going to play before or after the game, but for me to like see him forfeit the game, especially
It's the first time in his career.
yeah, it's like, like it's just very, very. I don't know.
What's going through your mind?
Well, I'm speechless to be honest. It's like it's very weird. Yeah. First, he gives up the title, which I thought was first. I certainly was surprised, and then now this is. Okay, I don't want to draw any conclusions, but it's very strange. But at least I got to beat him before he left. That's a good thing.
Absolutely. Well, then you must be happy with this game, and certainly with the quality of your play in this tournament so far.
Well, who cares about the quality? Results is what people remember. So, this game against Aronian in here, I think I should have I won both of these games, considering the opening chances I got and the mistakes they made. But you know, converting is a skill, and at least I can play decent chess.
Currently on 2 points out of 3, so your lead has been. You're on 2 out of 3. All of Magnus Carlsen's results will be annulled.
But I get the rating, yeah?
You do get the rating.
Okay,
Yes.
then I don't care. Yeah. Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty ridiculous. But wow. So, oh, 2. Okay. Yeah, I see. I guess he just didn't want me to win the tournament, so he had to leave. You know, he knew that would happen.
I guess that was the only reason. Yes.
Can't think of anything else.
Well, Hans, you think that he has some kind of personal thing against you? Why did you mention that?
No, I have no idea. It's obviously a sarcastic comment, yeah.
Okay.
Because, okay, like, out of the 4 games, you know, he's like helping Nepo because he lost. You know, yeah, I have no idea what, about anything. It's just, of course, I would prefer for the win to count. Let's just leave it at that.
Well, it counts for your rating. You're still over 2,700, and you're still putting on an impressive tournament here at the Singfield Cup.
It's okay, it's okay. Considering my current rating, you guys might think it's impressive, but I'm always striving for more.
Okay. Well, Hans, thanks for joining us here in the studio, certainly. We look forward to the remainder of your games, and good luck in them.
Thank you.
Indeed, Hans. Good luck, and thank you for today's very entertaining game.
Thank you, guys. And we do have Hans Niemann. Hans, seemed like a tough position. You came up with this interesting idea we hadn't seen before with c5. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, first of all, this bishop b3 move
Yes.
is slightly, it's not the main line. The main line is actually knight f1.
Yeah, knight f1.
And I had some ideas there, which I thought would be a nice surprise. And so that was my main point. But bishop b3 is sort of the stopping knight g6, because then there's d4. So
Gotcha.
so the point behind knight e7 is that you can't play d4 because of knight c6. And this is a common idea. This is also an idea. There was a game, actually, let's say the pawn is on a2, the pawn is on a7, and the bishop is on b6.
Yes.
This idea is a position. There was a game, I think Alexenko Caruana from the candidates, 2021. So this idea of going back and forth is a nice little trick, especially because he played knight dd2 first.
Yes.
This is like you could argue it's a slightly inaccurate order because you sort of aren't able to punish knight e7 directly. Like, let's say you played, instead of knight d2, rook e1, castles, h3, let's say knight e7. Now then d4, and you can sort of punish this directly. So the main idea was just to sort of avoid this immediate d4 break, which is by getting sort of a semi-close position that I had more knowledge about. So, okay, we can go back to c5.
Yes.
So yeah, I didn't check it too much. It was sort of a spur of the moment. I was not too sure about what opening to play. Could have been better prepared in this specific game, of course. But obviously, yeah, knight f1, I don't remember, you know, of course, what I remembered is that actually a5 is the most precise move.
Here in this position,
Yeah,
instead of knight f1.
Yeah, that's what I remembered. And then you play bishop to e6, and then this sort of weird move, knight to c4. When I saw this, I was like, this is a bit weird. I don't think the engine will give this. I don't remember. I think maybe rook c8 is a move. But this looked pretty fine to me. It's like a weird marshal.
Yeah.
And I guess you can sort of have the bishop on a7 isn't that bad in a marshal because you're sort of always stopping the d4 break, which is the main positional break in these positions. It's usually d4, and it's never really working here. So I thought that it was possible for him to sort of lack a direct plan, which he kind of did. He brought the knight to e3, which I don't think, from what I remember, knight to g3, and then sort of ideas with knight h2, knight g4, knight h4, knight f5 was the most precise. So I didn't think this was so critical. But I think my main mistake was actually after the move, bishop b8. Yes, so if instead of bishop a7, so after he plays the move a5, I should of course understand that the idea is to play bishop a4 and c4. This is sort of the only way that he can time the closing of the position to where I don't get direct counterplay. So in anticipation of this bishop a4, c4 idea, I should of course play knight to g6. And bishop b8 is even stupider in this specific position because, as we saw in the game, the b4 break, the bishop is on b8.
Yeah.
And it's basically wasting 2 tempos. So let's say I play knight g6 here.
Yeah.
And I'm again preparing d5, bishop a4, queen c8, c4. white could be even lost after knight to f4, attacking d3. Okay, so the queen is not on c8 here, I guess.
Sorry, I just missed.
Yeah, so queen to c8. Yes, c4, knight f4, and here with bishop h3 is coming. And maybe even if bishop h3 isn't coming, I don't really see how I'm worse here. Even I could play g5 to consolidate this. I think I had a game against Fabi in like some online tournament, a Rapid Chess Championship, and he had a very similar structure. Just reminds you of that. But of course, I should play knight g6, right? Preparing this entire sequence. So this was just bishop 8 was quite stupid because I just underestimated this and underestimated his move knight to d5, which was extremely strong. I think it's the only move to sort of maintain control because, and then here he has sort of a long-term positional edge, but why is my bishop on b8? Like, what is it doing there? Hitting the d6, e5 diagonal. Like, it's completely counterintuitive. I just underestimated. So I was, thankfully during the game, I did not understand the seriousness of my mistake, probably because the position still wasn't that bad, but I still felt some pressure later on. I think there was, the next critical moment was when he played knight takes b5.
Oh, all the way down there.
Yeah, because, okay, you can go through it quickly, but before this,
How did you feel about this position?
I thought if you played knight e6, I was slightly worried, right? So knight e6, king f6, rook g3, and I'm sort of
G3.
Yes,
Did you consider
g3.
rook f3?
Yeah, rook f3 and then rook g3, right?
What do you mean? After king e7, you mean?
No. But why not king e5? Ah, knight f8. Ah, okay.
Yeah. And unfortunately, this is kind of.
I see. So then, so we can get it with the tempo. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I was afraid of some stuff like this. Yeah. So that is a nice trick. So yeah, king e7, then rook g3.
Yes.
Then rook g3. Then maybe I have rook f6 though. So that's okay. It's not clear how to break through, but you have rook c4, I guess. Then the rook is coming. Yeah, this is not looking great. Maybe I can go knight a7, but it's just so ugly.
Right.
It's not clear where the breakthrough is. I don't think it's objectively lost yet, but it's certainly, considering where we started, he's definitely gotten everything he could hope for. But yeah. Perhaps I did not see this knight f8 trick immediately, but I definitely could feel some danger because the knight on b5 is just sort of, it's just there, but it's
Not doing much, right? You even consider that you have to go back, right?
Well, the point of knight on b5 was obviously to stunt the e file, but once he was able to open up the position, open up the with the d4 break, I misunderstood. Misevaluated the strength of this move and how poorly my knight would be misplaced.
Yeah, the angles actually do say that objectively you were lost after
Really?
knight e6. Yeah.
Knight e6, wow.
About a
Okay.
+4.
+4?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So you must have felt great relief to see knight takes
no,
e5.
of course, yeah. I thought it was just an easy draw after this.
So yeah, knight takes, pawn takes, and you were not worried after this?
No, I don't think that. Let's say rook takes b5.
Yeah, he played rook f3, which maybe made your life a little easier.
A little bit easier, but still after rook f3, king f6. Rook takes b5, king f6,
f6.
king f2, king e3, and king e5, king 3. And here I was looking. Okay, I could play rook e7, but he suggested just most concrete is just to play rook to f4, and then just take an h4. And once the h pawn is sort of taken, I just don't think that you can sort of break, right? Because anytime you take this pawn, the E and D pawn sort of collapse, and then the A pawn is not really enough to convert. So this was definitely decent defense. But yeah, I really could feel that the knight e6 was coming, but thankfully I was not. If I realized how bad it was, I might have hesitated leading to. So sometimes ignorance is truly bliss when it comes to evaluating positions. Like for example, Aronian in our game, he was just chilling. He was like some of these top guys are just chilling, and I'm like looking at them like they're crazy. But it's just sort of when you're relaxed, I guess you can defend better. But sometimes if you realize you're losing, it makes things worse,
Right, and well, you didn't collapse and actually got back fully into the game, made an important draw here with the black pieces. Your feeling about the game in general?
I think the preparation, first of all, it's decent. The black games against these top guys are ridiculous, because they're just, Lenier is just such an esteemed theoretician. Mm-hmm. So that was slightly intimidating. So the opening, perhaps I think that I'm slightly disappointed that I should have been a bit more familiar with his position, but I think in general he just played quite well, and I think kept my calm, because if I'm lost after 96, then it was very bad long before that. There wasn't really much maybe there was something I could do, but very, very unpleasant for most of the game.
Hans, we got to speak about the elephant in the room. You've asked to have some words. Floor's yours.
So there's been a lot of things that have been, the social media stuff, and I have a lot of things to say, and I've thought a lot about what I want to say and how I'm going to say it, and I think I can just, maybe I'll forget something, but let's just discuss a few things. So, first of all, my accent, I'm sorry. This is just the first thing. This is just the most funny thing, because if you want me to speak like an American right now, I can't even tell. But for the last 2 years, I have lived in a suitcase, traveling around Europe, playing chess nonstop. I spend so much time working on chess that I simply don't go outside and socialize with people who speak fluent English. This is just one thing I want to talk about. Before I say anything, I have spent the last 2 years not spending any time in America, and even when I'm in America, I don't go outside other when I pick up my food. I'm just too busy with chess. So all these things saying that I'm faking an accent and that I'm putting on some facade, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever said. And if anyone is using my newfound accent to make any conclusions about anything chess related is absolutely insane, because I don't spend any time in America. I only speak to chess players who have bad English. So you maybe think maybe it's a product of my environment. Okay, maybe that was a bit too, okay. And then, okay, first of all, the Magnus opening. Okay, now let's get to that. So people were saying that there was no idea why I checked this. Well, first of all, people are absolute idiots, because the explanation I'm going to give is going to make you all the top GMs look like total idiots. So the position, first of all, they said there was 0 game. There was a game. Check the database. There's this thing in chess called transpositions. Okay, now when he played the move a3, of course I'm expecting the move knight f3. Now let's say in the Catalan, no, let's show it, because this is just embarrassing. This is absolutely embarrassing, and I'm sorry if I'm coming off hostile. It's just a passionate thing for me. So let's go to the, so after bishop, so let's say the Catalan,
With the knight f3 with order, you mean?
yeah, so let's say you play knight f3,
Okay.
d5, g3, bishop b4 check. Wait, there's a move knight c3 here, and then after castles, there's a move bishop g2, and after dc4, a3, bishop c3, bc3, c5. Here we have, in chess we call it transposition. Now, let's say theoretically, Magnus has been playing quite a lot of Catalan recently. So perhaps I'm looking at the Catalan and I'm thinking, how is Magnus going to surprise me in the Catalan? There's this weird move knight c3. I remember some instances where he's go for these weird structures. So this is a perfectly reasonable thing, and during the moment, I did not think about it because it was such a small part of my preparation, but simply the pattern I recognized, and also I spent 15 minutes after the move a3. The reason I spent 15 minutes after the move a3, I don't know if the timestamps are there.
They are actually.
Yeah, so how much, there was one moment where I spent,
8 minutes.
8 minutes, okay. Anyways, I was thinking more from an hour 30. In general, I've spent 15 minutes. Now, after the move a3, and now I play dc4, at this point, since it's not a direct transposition, I should obviously take some time to make sure that the position is going to be transposed properly. Here there's a move queen a4. I don't know, this is a move that I was concerned with in the game, but now there's bishop d7. I thought in the game queen takes c4, bishop c6, knight f3, and then I thought knight to d7. He plays castles, I thought bishop to d5, and then I play c5, and then I thought this was my plan. So I understood, at least not in most precise way, but I understood that there was going to be the move knight f3, thus leading to a transposition. So this is why I took some time. People are saying that I'm taking time and that I'm making up that I meant. I checked it because it's a transposition. I'm spending extra time to make sure that the transposition is correct because it's the world champion, and he's just sprung a very dangerous trap. Now, if I don't know this, it can be very dangerous. But the fact that it's not a miracle, it's actually me being extremely tedious and going through every single possible transposition or sort of line that he could play in the Catalan. That's the first thing. Okay. I need to. There's just so many things that. So I think those are the main things. And then, okay, of course, and then the fact that my analysis is not at the level of a top player. In my game against Ferrugia, you need to understand that when I play the move queen to g3, I did not elaborate this during the game, this is a purely psychological move. If clearly people don't know anything about Fallujah, his style, how to beat him, the way to beat him is to attack him. He really, really hates being attacked, and the main ways he loses is by being attacked. Now, we had a game in Miami where I got an attack, and he completely collapsed. And I studied previous games, knowing he attacked. So when I see the position, and I say Queen G3, I think to myself, okay, I highly doubt, based on my intuitive feeling, that I'm losing here. I don't feel the need to calculate every single variation because I'm confident that there's no way first he's going to take, and if he takes, he's going to be shared shitless. Okay? Okay, so that's this game. Now, after the games, first of all, you're extremely tired, and it's extremely difficult sometimes to recollect the things that you're talking about, the moves, the variations. You know, it's not like I'm coming in here full of energy, right? And especially in the analysis, okay, you can debate full of energy, but like, it's not. Sometimes you just forget things. So the notion that I simply can't speak about chess on a high level is completely ridiculous. I'm a very intuitive player. I made a gut call to play Queen G3, and it paid off. And even if you look at the pattern of my games, you know, it's I'm clearly missing many chances, and it's extremely human chess. Now, okay. So this is, I think, is that everything about the interviews? Have I covered everything?
That's up to you.
No, I have, because the interviews have been a key point. So that's just something I wanted to cover, that people are ridiculous about interviews. Okay, like my accent is, I can't even realize because I'm numb to it. But this is not a facade. I'm sorry. I just don't socialize much because I work so hard at chess. Like I'm literally sorry. I delete all social media. I sit inside. I study chess, and I leave to pick up my delivery food twice a day. That is my life. I enjoy it. Okay. And if my English is not as native as it is, sometimes I'm sorry, but when I speak to, let's say, an American friend, it comes right back. Right. It's something subconscious. So maybe now it's coming back. Anyways. So in terms of the interviews, that's fine, right? So now I've noticed throughout social media, a lot of people who I once had respect for, who I once sort of looked up to, a lot of my heroes have decided to hop on this bandwagon. Now, there have been a lot of speculation, and there's been a lot of things said, and I think I'm the only one who knows the truth. So there's a few things that need to come to light. So first of all, there's the situation with chess.com. Now, people have said that my chess.com was banned twice. Okay, so this is what happened. When I was 12 years old, I was with a friend, and I was playing Title Tuesday. And I was playing, and he came over on an iPad with an engine, and I was 12 years old, and he said, you know, he started giving me the moves. I was a child, I had no idea what happened. Now, this happened once in an online tournament. I was just a child, and nothing happened then. Now, 4 years later, when I was 16 years old during my streaming career, in an absolutely ridiculous mistake, in unrated games, after that, when I was 12, I have never, ever in my life cheated in an over-the-board game, in an online tournament. They were in unrated games. I'm admitting this, and I'm saying my truth because I do not want any misrepresentation. I am proud of myself that I learned from that mistake and now have given everything to chess. I have sacrificed everything for chess, and I do everything I can to improve. So I'm going to get started. Basically, I wanted to gain some rating. You know, I just wanted to get higher rated so I could play stronger players. So I cheated in random games on chess.com. Now, I was confronted, I confessed, and this is the single biggest mistake of my life, and I'm completely ashamed. And I'm telling the world because I do not want any misrepresentation, and I do not want rumors. I have never cheated in an over-the-board game. When I was 12 years old, I have never, ever, and I would never do that. That is the worst thing I could ever do, cheat in a tournament with prize money. Now, I made that mistake, and this is something, it's not something I was doing consistently. Never when I was streaming did I cheat. Never did I misrepresent my strength. So I made this mistake. I was confronted by chess.com. I had fully admitted, and I stopped playing chess.com. Now, what I want people to know about this is that I'm deeply sorry for my mistake, and I know that my actions have consequences, and I suffer those consequences. During that time, I completely stepped away from a very lucrative streaming career. I stopped playing in all events, and I lost a lot of close friendships and relationships that meant a lot to me. So I assure you, maybe I did not suffer, but I'm putting myself in the public now. I could be ruining my reputation for my life, but I want to tell the truth. Now this happened. I'm deeply, deeply ashamed of it. But keep in mind, I was 16 years old. I never wanted to hurt anyone. These were random games. I would never could even fathom doing it in a real game. Now, unfortunately now, there has been a targeted attack, and some recent events have made it really, really difficult for me to not stop speaking. After the game against Magnus, obviously Magnus puts this tweet, clearly some insinuations, and then everyone starts to pile. I get an email from chess.com saying that they've privately removed access to my chess.com account and that they have uninvited me from the Global Chess Championship. Now, 3 days ago, I met with someone very high up in chess.com at the Singfield Cup, had amazing, amazing words. But because of this game against Magnus, because of what he said, they have decided to completely remove me from their website. Now this is after I have already fully admitted, and they have the best cheat detection in the world. They know that I'm not a cheater, and that I give everything to chess. I work so hard, and chess is my entire life, okay? Now, if they're going to try to think that I'm going to be silent about what has happened, it is completely ridiculous. I met with Danny Rensch at Miami, and Danny Rensch was the person who confronted me, and I was deeply, deeply indebted to him for handling the ban privately and giving me the chance to redeem myself. Now, after being not playing in chess.com events, I went to over-the-board tournaments, and I decided to myself that the only way to make up for my mistake was to prove to myself and to prove to others that I could win myself. Now that has been my mission, and that is why I've lived in a suitcase for 2 years. That is why I have played 260 games in 1 year. That is why I've training 12 hours a day, because I have something to prove. And now that chess.com has suddenly decided to hop on Magnus's insinuations, Hikaru's very direct accusations, now they see the opportunity, okay, we're just gonna get rid of this. I believe that this is completely unfair. This is a targeted attack, and if you look at my games, this is not, it has nothing to do with my games. So why do you specifically, why does the CEO of chess come to me and say, we're looking forward to having the Global Chess Championship, we're looking forward to you playing on our events, and then right when I beat Magnus, they decide to remove my account and not let me play in the tournaments. This is absolutely ridiculous, and they've only done this because of what Magnus has said, what Hikaru says, and that the entire social media and chess world is completely attacking me and undermining me. And they maybe would think that I would be afraid to tell the entire world that I cheated in some random games, and I cheated in a tournament when I was 12 years old, but I'm not afraid. Because I know who I am, and I know the chess player that I am, and I know what I give to chess. So I'm not going to be scared, to be manipulated, and to be conspired against, to try to ruin my chess career when I know what has happened. So, you know, as far as Magnus, this is absolutely, the fact that he did it without saying it, he knew the insinuations that would follow. If you look at social media, every single platform, I'm getting thousands of messages, not thousands, there are thousands of tweets, everyone is attacking me. And some people are defending me, and I really appreciate those. But when I see people attack me with absolutely zero evidence, people have zero, I'm the only person who knows what happened. And I'm telling you guys that this is the truth. Now, I really do not think that I would have the courage to say this, but some people, I'm very thankful to the people who helped me make the decision. And you know what? This is the truth, and I would really, and now Magnus can, and Hikaru, I've never ever cheated against you in an online game. Never happened. And the most ridiculous part, this is that the same players that in this tournament are insinuating that I'm cheating have also made insinuations about people who are making insinuations about me. So let's just say the people who are saying these things about me, they're not that innocent themselves. So it's very ridiculous. I'm sorry if I'm rambling, but the main thing that I want to say is that I am not going to let chess.com, I'm not going to let Magnus Carlsen, I'm not going to let Hikaru Nakamura, the three arguably biggest entities in chess, simply slander my reputation, because the question is, why are you going to remove me from chess.com right after I beat Magnus? Just what's with the timing? So I would, first of all, again, I'm deeply, deeply sorry for what has happened. It is the biggest single regret of my life. And even now, to look back on it, I can now recognize myself. To give context, I was 16 years old. I don't want to make excuses, but I was living alone in New York City. It was the peak of the pandemic. And at that, I have been financially independent since I was 16 years old. I left my family, and I was living alone at 16. I had rent to pay, and I wanted to, and I was willing to do anything to grow my stream. So of course I made a childish mistake, and I will have to live with that. But I'd rather live with that, with everyone knowing the truth, instead of people making simple, speculation about me, because this is the full truth, and I'd like to see if everyone else can actually tell their truth.
When Chess.com sends you this email, did they give a reasoning?
No reason.
They just informed you?
No reason. They said, I tried to log in my Chess.com account. I wanted to check the games, and they said, I couldn't log in, sending me email. A few hours later, they've rescinded we have privately, so they didn't want to ban me publicly because then they have to give a reason. And they think that they can scare me because they think that I'm not going to talk about it because I'm afraid to admit this. But this is an online, I did this when I was 12 years old. And then other times I did, it was not even in over the World Tournament, it was not even in a prize money online tournament, it was in absolutely random games. And I understand that some people might lose respect for me for this, but it is my greatest mistake, and I've done, everything I've done in the past few years has been to make up for that mistake. And that is my entire purpose as a chess player, is to prove to myself and to others that I'm trying to do better. And I hope that my results and my commitment and my hard work has shown that I have learned from this, and that I learned my lesson.
Hans, how does it feel to play the rest of the tournament knowing that everything here surrounding the Singfield Cup? Magnus left, and clearly something is happening. How are you able to focus?
Because when obviously after the game, I open social media and I can't get my eyes off it, because every single person in their whole family has an opinion, and of course you sort of get dragged into it, and I'm reading it, and it's obviously was really disheartening seeing so many people. And I would like to say, this is one anecdote. When I was 8 years old, Magnus Carlsen came to an exhibition in California, and my mom took me there. I just started, or maybe I was 9, I just started playing chess. And he was doing a blindfold simul, and there was an auction to bid on it. And when they were bidding on it, it got up to $1,000, and it became too much. And my mom was like, no, if you really, really want it, we'll do it. She was going to really to make a financial sacrifice so I could play. And I said, no, Mom. One day I'm going to play him for free. Okay? And instead, I got assigned big chess piece, and that happened. But to me, to see my hero, to see my absolute hero try to target, try to ruin my reputation, ruin my chess career, and to do it in such a frivolous way is really, really disappointing. Because you spend your entire life looking up to someone, and then you meet them, and then my dream came true. I lived my dream for a day, beating Magnus, and then all of this happened. So. I'm sorry, I forgot what your initial question was.
How do you focus on the Singfield Cup?
Well, when I sit on the board, it's pure, it's all chess. So even today, maybe there were moments during the game where my mind wandered, but when I'm playing chess, that's all there was on my mind, and hopefully it'll stay that way.
Does this bothering you fuel you? Does it make you angry and hungry?
It absolutely fuels me. My fuel has always been. Maybe not anger, but spite has been a strong fuel for me. When I was started to play chess in the Netherlands, my school teacher told me I wasn't good enough, and that certainly fueled me. I've always been one to prove people wrong, and this absolutely fuels me, and this makes me want to win the tournament even more. And I can come to the game, I can completely strip. You want to do any fair play check to me you want, I don't care, because I know that I'm clean, and they could literally tell me the most ridiculous thing. If they want me to strip fully naked, I'll do it. I don't care, because I know that I'm clean, and I'm willing to subject myself. You want me to play in a closed box with zero electric transmission? I don't care. Name whatever you guys want. I'm here to win, and that's going to be my goal regardless.
Hans, very candid words, guys. Any questions?
On the contrary, a very heartfelt interview. Your emotion spoke for itself. Hans, all we can say is enjoy your free day, stay away from social media, and keep your head in the game.
Yeah, I think much of this needed to be said, and I think it's very good that it has been said. Thanks for coming in and doing this.
Yeah, and I just, before I go, I just thank you guys for giving me the chance to speak, and I'm sure many people are going to be seeing this, and I just would like to hope that everyone keeps an open mind and understands that chess is my entire life, and I've sacrificed everything for this game, and I'm willing to do anything. to improve myself and to improve at chess. So this is, I'm sorry, but the chess is everything to me. So I think that's all I need to say.
Absolutely, you've said plenty, Hans. Thanks for joining us here. Guys, we're coming up on a rest day. Hans still on +1, trying to win this tournament.
Yes, he is. And again, Peter, very heartfelt words.
Yeah, it
by
feels like
Hans
we
there.
really should not be talking right now. This needs to be how this broadcast ends, because like we are not adding any value to what Hans said here.
Yeah.
Hans, a draw here against MVL, a player that you fought a lot in Blitz. How did it feel going against him in classical chess?
Yeah, we played this match in Paris, so I'm quite acquainted. And we've played many Blitz matches under casual circumstances, and we've played Blitz matches in many different settings with, let's say, unique handicap. So, you know, it's safe to say that I am acquainted with him personally and his chess, definitely much more than other players here.
He surprises you a little bit, doesn't use his usual e4, which he tries to do as most as possible in classical chess. Instead, we get this kind of Grunfeldish position. What were your thoughts going into this variation?
Yeah, well, after the game, I said, you know, when was the last time you played anything in classical? I said, I couldn't remember. So he simply, and I think that is a sign that forgetting not to check knight f3, you know, to be honest, I only looked at e4, and even I think we played 100 Blitz games, never once has he not played d4. So of course it was a surprise, but so after knight f3, even on the first move I had to make such a big decision, right? Because there's so many implications with move knight f3. So first I'm trying to understand, okay, why not c4, why not d4, why not f3? And usually when people start with knight f3, it means that they want to go g3. Sometimes it means that they want to go c4 without allowing e5. So I was trying to sort of understand where things were going so I could sort of understand where I could avoid being put in a position where I'm going to be forced to be precise.
Right.
And obviously within knight f3, g3, it's actually quite a dangerous system. So there are a lot of ways that black can actually go wrong and run into deep prep. So I went for the one thing I think you didn't expect. Let's just start after knight takes d5, because this is the first moment I want to talk about.
Okay.
So I actually, going for this line, I've never checked this too deeply. However, there was a game, I think it was Hokopian against Theodoru. Pretty sure Theodoru was black, Aram Hokopian was white, and it was in the Summer Chess Classic. And they made a quick draw, knight b5, bishop b6, knight d5, bishop c8. So I remembered following this quick draw, and I've seen, I think, this quick draw twice. So my conclusion was that it's probably not that bad. And my play seems pretty simple here. I recalled something after knight c3, take.
Knight c3 in this position.
And usually after knight c6, these positions that are symmetrical sort of just lead to a lot of just liquidation. So I wasn't too worried here.
Right.
And he definitely wasn't going to be able to fully punish me because he had no idea how can he expect this. So, or because when you play knight f3 g3, you're doing a lot of work before the game. And I don't even think he didn't have a rest day. He played the game actually. So yeah. Regardless, this first critical moment, knight b3 was obviously an interesting surprise. Had knight b4, I thought was the most logical. He plays knight c3, knight c6. Yeah, I anticipated all of this. Bishop d2 was a nice idea. You know, you want to play a3, so bishop f5, rook c1, rook c8, a3, knight a6. Now, I was slightly worried about the position, but what I played is an extremely concrete solution. The knight on a6 is a bit awkward, but this knight on b3 is also a bit awkward. So we've got this weird sort of tension between these two knights. Otherwise, I felt that my bishop on f5 was slightly better than the bishop on d2. I guess they're opposite colors, but they're sort of the corresponding bishops in this very symmetrical structure. So when he played bishop b3, I thought bishop b6 was the only move because I wanted to be extremely concrete, take advantage of this weak knight, and he played queen c2, bishop f5, bishop b4, queen d7. And honestly, if you look at my time, I literally was playing so quickly.
Right.
I spent a bunch of time in the opening. So after yesterday, I just decided, okay, I'm just gonna follow my intuition, just gonna play quickly, and if it goes wrong, it goes wrong. So this queen e6, it's actually really interesting. This motif with the queen in e6, and this specific pressure I haven't seen before, but it's there is actually it's not a weird. I've seen there's in the Sveshnikov. This is an idea, and it's a completely different structure, but I thought that it was a really great square because it's simultaneously. Okay, I guess the main problem. Okay, if you sort of compare the pieces, right? You've got the main issue in these positions, a lot of pieces, is the queen placement. So the queen on c2 was a bit off. Like, for example, let's say instead of queen to d7, I played bishop takes e4.
Okay. This position, but before, right?
Yeah. So let's say
Takes.
Once the queen takes on e4, then everything is ready to. Then rook d1 is coming, and my queen is very misplaced.
Yeah.
So the main sort of dynamic and issue was sort of solving the queen placement, and if the queen placement is solved with the light square bishops being traded, the pressure from my g7 bishop, especially with the weakness on b2, combined with a3 being already included, I felt that obviously the knight on a6 isn't ideal and could be dominated. I didn't feel like he had to be very direct, at least if he was going to do anything. And okay, with the game, this gf5 idea is obviously quite weird, but my bishop on g7 is protecting very well. The bishop on e3 is terrible, and as we saw in the game, he had to play knight d4.
Were you not worried about anything else in this position?
Knight d5 crossed my mind, and,
Yeah.
and we discussed this after the game. So there were just so many, even I was just struggling to make sense of this. Like, I considered knight d4, but I was just, maybe I was like, there's so many moves I was, like, even just looking at this bishop made my head hurt. And I was just like, okay, if he plays knight d4,
94 here.
then I'll think. No, if I play d4 maybe, but I was just even struggling to just, like, I'm sorry, but I cannot, before, to play chess, you need to be in such a serene state, You need to sleep well. You need to not be on social media 5 hours a day. You need to, like, go to the game with a clear mind, and you need to be, like, calm.
You have to pull a Yasser.
You have to. You can't be like, have a million different things entering your head at once, and even before this Wesley game, I was told actually just to force a draw because playing chess in these conditions is simply no one can do this, and I didn't do that, and I paid the price. But anyways, I think it happened. But after knight d5, there's rook d8. We discussed rook d8, knight f4, queen e4.
Yeah.
And there was also queen e5 as well, but. Queen e4, take. Maybe you can argue queen takes e4, f8, let's say rook takes d8, rook takes d8, let's say rook c2. Maybe you can argue some slight pull, but I just think this bishop on g7 is so strong, and there isn't really a direct plan. Maybe f5 is a bit weak, but I thought, there's rook d1, rook b1 here maybe.
Yeah, the edges thought this was actually fine for you. Perhaps they were a little bit more worried about this cool move rook d3, but it's of course difficult to find from.
Yeah, rook d3, well, yeah. Yeah, I didn't consider rook d3. But rook d8 would probably be the most natural continuation. Perhaps had some hope for knight d4, but I don't think it was working.
No, it definitely did not.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't. Yeah, I think that's. I think at least I knew that I was not capable of calculating at all this game.
You got to this position and you seemed like you were forced to calculate. I guess some of the
it's just so simple. Like, come on, it's just easy, right? What do you mean calculate? Like if you go back, all my moves are basically forced. Like, if you can suggest another candidate move.
No. After rook f5, what were your thought process?
I thought maybe rook d6.
Yeah.
I thought let's say there's rook d5.
Well, there's check, right?
There's check. I thought king f6. I didn't see. I wasn't sure where the queen was going.
Well, you can
maybe
take.
I'm lying. You can take. Oh, maybe am I getting mated? Wow, that's
No,
so
you're not.
No, you're not.
Wait, but the rook on d1 is hanging, no? With check.
Yes.
And then I can. I'm sorry. Is this like a joke? It's like a prank. Like, could I take the rook? Like, I'm sorry.
It's just a draw.
It's just a draw.
Yeah. Okay. You're spending too much time with the computers. I'm sorry. Like, I don't. I think this variation speaks for itself. Like, this is. No, but of course I saw that rook d6, but I usually assume, like, if rook d6 is happening and I'm taking a rook, and the king, rook and g5 is hanging, I can't imagine a situation where I'm losing. So
That's
I think
true.
that wasn't. I think that was a logical way for me. I don't know if it was necessary to calculate this far.
No, and then you made a very comfortable draw. After the move queen e4, did you feel you were rather safe?
Yeah, if the rooks are traded, it's just maybe white is to be preferred, but. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your loss yesterday. They say that you learn a lot from losses. What went through
They
your
say
mind?
this is true. Thou correct. I do learn a lot from my losses, and there was actually a period where I would never have I would never draw. Like there was a period, I think when I was around 2,500, that I went to a tournament, it was 7 wins, 2 losses. Next tournament was like 9 games, 1 draw. It was like 5, I won 4 games in a row, then I lost 5 games in a row. Then the next tournament, so my style has become a bit more solid. But I've always, I think losses are of course a lot to learn from, and there's so much to learn from this game. First of all, the Petrov was a unique surprise. Of course, I was still ready and I played normally. But I think that the thing that really should be learned, especially when you're playing guys against Wesley, is that risk aversion is, I think, a really, really important skill in chess. And I think that if you look at someone like Wesley, he never, I don't know if he doesn't really blow people off the board, but he is just so precise, so accurate, and he simply never will make a blunder or a mistake extremely rarely. So I think this is a conscious thing, and at many points early on in this opening, I could have made decisions that would maybe never lose the game, right?
Right, of course.
And that is obviously a lesson to be learned, but considering the circumstances, I don't think I need to even verbalize the mental pressure and everything that's going on. Like, maybe only I can understand this, or people who have been through similar things, but I assure you, playing chess, doing something, sitting there for 5 hours, trying to keep a clear head, trying to compete. Even this is my first super tournament of my life, so this is extremely difficult. But I love chess and I'm just enjoying playing, but I wouldn't be lying if I'm just really hoping for this to, I really just, I can't play chess anymore. This is to play chess under these conditions is absolutely ridiculous.
Gotta say, it's not bad to not be able to play chess and still make a draw against MVL with the black pieces.
Yeah, but of course, MVL is also having a difficult tournament, so maybe he wasn't as, I think MVL having a good tournament would have played e4 and then things would have been much more combative. But in this case, based on the opening and based on the tournament situation, I think that it's a fine result, and I think I played pretty well. I don't think I made significant mistakes, and I didn't get into time pressure for no reason like I have in every game.
Hans, we have a question from the audience. At least that's what our producers have been telling us. Let's see, they're on the screen. For Hans, given the last couple of years of travel, isolation, and now this drama, do you have a support network to lean on?
What do you mean by a support network?
I didn't write this question.
Support. I think that the wording is just. I would maybe a group of people that would be supporting. Well,
people that you can go to.
Well, I live a pretty isolated life. To be honest, and that's by choice. So, I will say that I have received an insane amount of messages. I think every single person that I've ever met or even played in chess has sent me a message. And honestly, all positive. Maybe 1 out of 100 are negative. So at the early moments, when people were sending these positive messages after my first interview, this was obviously really, it was nice to see. And some articles were written, and obviously that was supportive, but in terms of speaking to people, that's just my personal life, so I don't really care to elaborate on that. But I have a very small, I like to play chess, and I like to do all things chess, and I have people that there's certainly people that I trust, that's true, and people that I've talked to, but yeah, you could say yes. I wouldn't say group or network, but I would say group of people. But this situation has certainly showed the true colors of many people.
Well, Hans, thank you for joining us. I know that you have 2 more games and that you want to finish your first super tournament on a high note, so we'll let you rest.
Thank you.
Yeah, two quick questions for you, Hans. First of all, how did you do in those blitz matches that you mentioned with MVL when you guys were combating?
Yeah, so I'll tell. So initially, I'll give context first. I was going from Armenia to Germany for the Bundesliga, and I got a few days to burn. So I was like, why not go to Paris? And they arranged the match, and it was a 2-set match. We played, I believe, 3+1 to 6, I believe. And then we played 3+0 to 6 as well. He absolutely dominated me in the first portion. I think it was a huge score, maybe 6-1. But the second portion I won. Then we played a 4-game tiebreaker match. That went 2-2. And then in the Armageddon, he beat me. But he was dead lost, and even he will admit that. But it was a casual match. It was actually it was at this chess bar, and there's huge crowds as well. After every game, they were clapping. So it was quite a unique format. But I definitely think if you ask MVL, and there's a video of this. There's a full video of this, me playing Blitz against the world Blitz champion and almost beating him in a long match. So if you guys want to see my Blitz skills, I'm sure you can find that video against as I repeat, the world Blitz champion.
Yasser, you had a second question?
Yeah. Do you have a coach? Do you have somebody you work with? Do you have a coach?
I don't. Yes, but I would not like to reveal the.
That's good enough for us.
That's good enough. Yeah.
Yes.
Is it good?
I have coach, advisor, the term mentor.
Right.
I have people helping me. I decided after 4 years
we're
of no
not really
coach,
after
maybe I
names,
should get one. But actually, I would actually like to first of all pay tribute to one of my first coaches. Yasser, you might know him, John Grief.
Yes.
And I was actually
Love John Grief.
in light of this entire situation, I would actually like to actually speak about something, because now there's all the attention. I'd like to highlight someone very important. When I was 9 years old, I went to there was a coffee shop, I think it was the Blue Danube, and my dad would take me there, and these guys were like, average age would be 60, and I was 9 years old. And I'd go there and I'd play Blitz against them just every Sunday, and then it became multiple times a week, and I'd just play so much Blitz against these guys. And one of the people there knew John Grief and wanted to get me a coach, and my family couldn't afford working with him, so this guy sponsored the lessons, and I was actually the last person to work with him before he passed away, and he had no family, and I was one of the only people to see him before he passed away. And a lot of my inspiration and my chess passion came from him. He was the U.S. champion, I think in 1971. He's played some beautiful games. He beat Miguel Najdorf. But it was a really sad story because he never had any money. He couldn't make a career from chess, and as Yasser probably knows, back then becoming a professional in chess was very difficult. So I just like to shine some light on his amazing impact on my career and his legacy, because I don't want that to be forgotten, and I hope that people remember him to be a great chess player. And he was a chess purist, absolutely. He had health problems, and I'd go over for lessons, and he could barely walk, but he was picking me up chocolate chip cookies and lemonade, and he really loved chess, and I just like to honor him, because and all of this and all this drama and everything, if everyone's gonna listen to me, then I'm gonna at least talk about something that's important to me.
Oh.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for that, Hans, because indeed, I knew John Grief very well, as you said, a former U.S. champion, and I remember we drove down from Edmonton to Seattle, and we did it in one go. We had one album, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. We had this tape deck, and we played it over and over and over and over again for 7.5 hours. Hans, good luck in the remaining games. Thank you so much for your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hans.
Absolutely. Yeah, John Grief. That's really, really, really nice to get a shout out. Yeah, he's good people.
Hello girls, it's really nice to see you here. What actually brought you here today to St. Louis Chess Club?
So we're out here supporting the tournament that's going on right there inside. We're especially here to support Hans. We got our fun little signs here, and yeah, just out here to show our support. We love him.
Create some buzz for the tournament in general. It's a beautiful game, and not a lot of people know about it, so we just wanted to get some excitement going outside of the tournament.
Chess is not dead.
Absolutely not, that's for sure.
Thriving
So, would you like to make a surprise for him today? He knows that you're here or not?
I don't think he knows that
I don't
we're
know if he
here,
knows.
so I really hope he comes out and sees us and sees that he's got some fans out here. We haven't met him, but we're really hoping we get the chance to, so just waiting patiently.
Hans, it's the end of your first super tournament. What did you think of your play
In the game or overall?
overall?
Well, I think I have mixed feelings about my play, obviously, because the beginning was starting. I think my first 4 games I was so happy with, and I think in the first 4 games I could even scored 4 to 4 based on the chances, and I was winning in every single one of those games. And then after that, I just the pressure of playing my first super tournament combined with everything, it was a lot to handle, and I wasn't able to manage my nerves, and in many critical moments I just completely choked. So obviously the second half was very difficult to play such strong opposition under such pressure on and off the board. But I think considering the circumstances, the fact that I have survived is a miracle. So I'm very happy with at least maybe not this game, but it's over. And okay, 50% if you include the Magnus win. With considering the circumstances, I think is a very good result, and I think that if I could play with a clear mind and no drama, I'm sure I would have done much better.
Before the tournament, did you imagine yourself scoring 50% in the first try against these 2,700 plus?
I imagine scoring higher than that. So.
What did you feel about some of the other games? Pressure got to you. Do you feel that was the reason that you weren't able to get some good positions?
Of course, it's immediately after round 4, my routine was ruined. I was barely sleeping. I was waking up much later than usual. My preparation suffered. I was much less calm. I was extremely nervous and anxious at the board because when you're playing chess, you need to only be thinking about chess, and you simply can't afford to think about anything else, especially playing at such a high level. So I think I'm at least happy that I showed my ability to play under normal circumstances, as we saw in these first 4 games, which were, I think, amazing, to be honest. And after that, I guess I went into survival mode, and okay, I lost these 2 games against Wesley and Fabiano with White, and that I should absolutely have never lost these games. I think at Fabiano, maybe there were like 4 junctions where I could have, I had like 4 chances to just, shut things down. Even more, and I failed at every single attempt just because my mind wasn't in the right place. And against Wesley, this is just completely uncalled for. And, okay, when your opponent plays the Petrov, you should not be losing.
You survived the tournament. It's over for you in the Singfield Cup. You were the center of a very tumultuous event. What are you going to do next?
Well, I guess now that the tournament is over, it's time to reflect on the chess first of all, and to reflect on many things that had happened. And my next classical event is the U.S. Championship, so of course I'm looking forward to that. And I just hope to have a day where I can not look at social media and just enjoy life and be relaxed and have a clear mind. So I'm hoping that I'm looking forward to some peace. And I guess we'll see how things move forward.
You have several weeks until the U.S. Championship gets started. You're going to be playing some of these top players there as well. What are you going to be doing in those weeks to prepare yourself mentally?
Well, I think that having time to recover, first of all, will be really important. Second of all, I think just having a stable routine is really important. In this tournament, in the first few rounds, I was going to sleep at like 9:30 p.m. And I was waking up quite early. I would go swim laps for about a half an hour. Then I would eat at around the exact same time. I would prepare. It was also structured and also disciplined. And that kind of collapsed at some point in the event, and that had a very detrimental effect. And what you do off the board and how you prepare for the games mentally, physically, is extremely important, especially at this level of play. So I wasn't able to maintain that routine, but I think that with more physical exercise, with more training, and again, the experience from this event, I think will be really, really important because it's my first Super Tournament Classical, and I think that there are a lot of sort of tweaks that come into Super Tournament chess.
Speaking specifically about the chess, considering this is your first Super Tournament, what did you notice you need to change?
Well, I definitely need to be more risk averse. If you have a spectrum and you compare me and Wesley, I would say that is certainly a parabolic. He's extremely risk averse, and I've noticed that each player is always extremely strong, but I've noticed differences in how they make certain decisions at certain moments. So obviously against Wesley, when I played this move h4, allowing knight h5, I think that any strong player would simply, okay, take on f6, take on d5, I'm never going to lose the game ever. And that is a very, let's say, professional approach. And these types of conscious decisions will prevent all unnecessary losses. And if you look at the losses in this tournament, it's not like I was completely dominated and outplayed. They were completely self-inflicted. The loss against White with Wesley was self-inflicted. The loss against White against Fabi was completely self-inflicted with this insane move g4. So the losses that I'm not losing, I'm losing because I'm losing objectivity, losing my calm, and not avoiding risk. And that's simply the name of the game. Like, you look at a guy like Dominguez, this guy is so risk averse, and it's really difficult to beat them. They're not going to win a lot of games, but the important thing, from my opinion, is just to take your chances, and the chances will come if you just, like, if you can play 9 games and never be lost. That's statistically, you're going to win some games.
Do you feel this is a residue from playing so many opens and so many people that are lower rated than you?
No, of course, yeah. The play style needs to adapt, and that has been a really weird process, because when you gain so much rating so quickly and you're adapting from different tournament structures, the tournament structure really requires a different type of chess. For example, these guys shape their entire repertoire around simply forcing a draw in the most concrete manner. Some players do it, some players don't, but if you look at, like, Jan, for example, his repertoire with black is, he wins a lot of games with black, but it's not that hard to force a draw against him with white, and a lot of players are like this, so perhaps I need to adjust. Because if you play super solid openings, right, you make yourself much less of a target. But I guess I'll find my style, and I'll find what I like to play. And but I think that I need a little bit of Wesley. I need to, because that complete risk aversion and really making sure no blunders happen is something that I think would benefit me a lot to balance out my ambition and fighting spirit.
The next super tournament you're going to play is the US Championship. We can definitely call it a super tournament. What place are you expecting to get in it?
I'm expecting to play my best chess and to improve upon this. And if this is any representation of my potential, I think that the US Championship is going to be even more impressive, considering this experience and considering that I think I'm going to be in a much better mental place during that event.
Right. Tell us a little bit about the winner of the Grand Chess Tour. You've got to play here in this tournament, Alireza Firouzja, that is. What do you think of his chess?
He's pretty good, yeah. We actually, I've known him, not known him, but we played actually in the under-12 in World Youth in Greece. So I was always familiar with him, and he was sort of, we're actually born one day apart.
Oh, that's funny.
So he's always been the leading my year, and then obviously now the entire junior generation. So I think he's a representation of, first of all, how this fresh, ambitious chess can be so dominating, and also just to show that he's an amazing work ethic and extremely talented. So, but as you see from him as well, sometimes in the candidates he was taking a ridiculous amount of risk for no reason. And so I think, I guess the younger players need to be more professional in some respects, because I think that some of these top 10 guys would never in their mind play some of the moves that at least I played, because they're just, they would never think of even taking any risk, because it's just the smartest way to play.
Yasser, I'm being told, has a question to jump in with.
Actually, I have two. First of all, the tumult that occurred off the board, that was terrible, but at least it provided us with two moments of gaiety, I want to say. One, you were coming into the playing hall with some chewing gum, man, and you got wanted on that chewing gum like it was, the high secrets. And then the other one was yesterday, we had a quad of ladies who showed up to express their great support. Your reflections, first of all, with the ladies.
I actually found it after the game. I did not notice that. Yeah, that was certainly an interesting surprise. And I saw someone made a Reddit post about that. You know, someone really is desperate for Reddit karma.
Yes, it's very important numbers.
Like Alejandro, I've seen him, he's farming Reddit karma like crazy, you know, as a commenter.
Oh, yes.
And he finally saw the chance to post. Because you've just been lurking in the Reddit comments for a while now. I think that is the first time in chess that that's ever happened. And as I said in my interview with Anastasia, I think that this tournament will go down in history. And I think when people look back on my career, and I'm going to have a very, very long career.
It's apparently on the screen. I was definitely farming the Reddit
Yeah,
upvotes.
you really looked like you were enjoying yourself there. I think.
But I had to run because we have a 7-minute break between here at the studio.
And that is the only time I've seen you run, Alejandro. Even when
You know what? We played tennis. I made you run.
No. Even when we play tennis, you don't run.
Excuse me. Who won? Who won that match?
It's not because you play tennis like Wesley plays chess.
Risk averse.
You just like. But the thing is that you can't run, so
Excuse me,
you're very smart with the placement. I'll tell you, the placement, you're hitting to my backhand every single time, and you got lucky. It was our first set, and hadn't played in like a year.
Technique too strong. The tennis speaks for itself. There's so many things I can say right now. Incredible.
Yeah, but okay. The main point is obviously this is the highlight of your commentary. You're waiting just for this moment, right?
Yes.
But finally, in chess, it's an interesting concept because if you look at a lot of major sports, this is certainly a common thing, right? But chess, to have like groupies, is a bit, or fangirls, if that term is denominatory, is certainly unique. And personally, I think it's interesting for chess. I don't know what to say here. Thank you for being my fans, and I will definitely not cut my hair now because I really love my hair, and the previous times I've cut it were all by influence of a girl, so I'm not going to let that mistake repeat itself.
Hans, you have fabulous hair. Everybody knows curly hair is the best hair.
Yes, it does.
Hans, I have to echo what you said. This will go down as a tournament in history above anything else. I have done commentary for the Singfield Cup since it started in 2013, and never have I seen the amount of attention that this one has gotten. And is there anything that you would finally like to add?
Well, first of all, the fact that I'm even playing this tournament was pure chance. There was a last-minute dropout, and then I was selected, which was not guaranteed, and then I made a trip from Turkey, very far and very tiring. So the fact that the last 3 weeks seem like it's a parallel universe, it doesn't make any sense to me, because this wild card to Miami for no reason, and even there, chess speaks for itself, and that went crazy. And the last, it just felt like quite crazy. But I'm very thankful, first of all, to Rex and Jeannie Singfield for everything they've done in chess. Like this invitation will definitely have a significant impact on my career, and we'll see if that is positive or negative, and that's to be determined. But I'm just very happy to play this tournament, and I wish that I could have done better, but I think that I showed that I can play with the best of the best, and regardless of the result, I think that that's something that no one can deny.
Hans, we will see you very soon here at the US Championships. Can't wait for those games to start. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hans, indeed. Our congratulations for your success in...
Thank you, Yasser. We are with Hans Niemann after an incredible victory with the black pieces against a fellow junior. Christopher Yu. Hans, first of all, let's address the elephant in the room. You've been under a lot of pressure. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, I think that this game is a message to everyone, and this entire thing started with me saying chess speaks for itself, and I think that this game spoke for itself and showed the chess player that I am, and it also showed that I'm not going to back down, and I'm going to play my best chess here, regardless of the pressure that I'm under, and that's all I have to say about this game. And chess speaks for itself. That's all I can say.
Let's discuss the game a little bit.
That's it. But you can leave it to interpretation. But thank you.
That's it. All you want to say.
That's all I'd like to say. Yes, because it was such a beautiful game. I don't even need to describe it.
Thank you.
What? That's it? Okay. I actually had one question. If we're still in studio, I guess not.
No, I mean, Hans has disappeared. But
I wanted to ask about the knight takes d5 moment.
I don't think he wanted to speak about the game.
Answer the knight takes d5
He
moment.
came into the studio and he said, we're not going to analyze the game. I just want to say something, and that was it.
that was
Okay.
it. It was a message for the world, and he spoke with his moves today.